Ahoy, hoy, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The O Show. I'm O, and I'm here for your amusement. Okay, so, I do have to admit, I've never watched The Office, okay? The Office was a show that came out in 2005, and I think it ended around 2013, if I'm not mistaken. So, it was like 9 seasons, right? And I do remember, I wanted to watch this show. Everyone was always talking about this show. I literally grew up in offices. Like, my first job out of high school was in a call. Technically I wasn't in a call center yet. After like a year, I switched departments. But I was pretty much in a call center for like 4 years. And then I went to another call center somewhere. And then I went to another call center somewhere. And then I went to another call center somewhere. So, I loved offices, right? Apparently. But it was back around the time where I think you could only record like one thing on your... was DVR even a thing? But yeah, DVR I think was a thing. But you couldn't record a lot of shows and watch a live show at the same time. Like, you had to kind of pick and choose your battles. And I was like, I guess I'll watch this show later. And I kind of pushed it to the side. And like I said, it blew up. Everyone loved it. I was that guy who just didn't know what everyone was talking about. But I actually got to watch it. And I finished it, you guys. So I found this like around Prime Days or something. It was like super cheap. But I officially have watched The Office, everyone. So now when it's rerunning, I know exactly what's happening. Because I never wanted to watch the reruns. Because I was like, well, I don't know what's happening. Is it part of a ongoing storyline or what? But y'all, can I just say real quick, like, this is like the worst CD holder. Look, first of all, you would think that's bad quality, like it's all, but no, that was me, because I don't know who put this shit together, but this was broke. You probably can't see, but the handle here is separated. You can probably see it there. So I was like, well, let me get some glue so I could just glue this down and hold it. And I think the moisture from the glue messed up the cover. But look, y'all, okay, 9 seasons, right? This is season 1 through 5. And every season, except the first, because like the first one was only like a few episodes before I guess it blew up. Every season is like 5 discs. And each disc only has like 4, 5, maybe 6 episodes. And these are like 20-something episode seasons. So I don't understand why they put so little. I guess there's like a lot of bloopers and deleted scenes. I get that. But why can't you just put all of the episodes like on 1 disc, 2 discs, 3 discs maybe, and then disc number 4 be like your bloopers and your deleted scenes. And then if you want to keep track of like what episode you're on, like the name, they have it, you probably can't see it, but the inside paper is what's saying like disc 3, season 2. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 episodes. But you have to take the CDs out to even read if you want to see. Like, it's so stupid. There's no booklet. Like, I feel like I should just buy one of those like 40 disc CD holders and just take all the discs out of here and just put them all in there. Because this is like the most stupidest thing. Look at this. Dumb. And then there's 2 of these things. Oh my god. So, yeah. That's craziness. But anyway, so let's talk about The Office. So, pretty much The Office is like a mock documentary show. So there's a camera crew coming in, and they are filming the lives of the employees of Dunder Mifflin, located in Scranton, Pennsylvania. So, I loved everything about this show. Like, I work remotely right now, but there are times I'm like, damn, I really miss The Office. Like, sometimes I watch things on TV, like the Super Bowl just passed, and I want to come into the office and be like, so, what y'all think of the Super Bowl? Or something. Or like office gossip and potlucks and fire alarms. It's just like, I just kind of miss like being social with people. However, I said this before in a previous video, like I've noticed for the past 3 years, I've had like stomach aches here and there, like I'll feel sick or what have you. But as far as me getting like a cold and be in bed for like 4 days. I have yet to have that. And I realized, like, damn, like, people got kids and they come to work and they're spreading their germs and they're standing right next to you, breathing on you. And I was like, I kind of miss, like, cooties, but not really. Okay, so look, y'all. So The Office has a manager. His name is Michael Scott. He's played by Steve Carell. And just hilarious, just fucking hilarious. Like this man reminds me of a few people that I have had encounters with. But I'm saying right off the bat, like I was trying to think, like, okay, now what character am I from this show? In all the places I worked, and I feel like I might have been a Michael Scott. Now I'm not a crazy jerk and racist like asshole like he is, but. Like, I used to just love going around, like, helping people, and then, on the way, I may or may not drop, like, a note on your desk or something, just for just to be funny. Like, so, this is what's hilarious. Recently, a former coworker of mine, and I still get in contact with on Facebook, she still has this note that I left her. This note right here. So I guess like I did the old school like paper wrapping, and then when you look into the inside, like I just wrote this. Like, I mean, is this HR material? Like, I don't know what I was doing. I don't know. I would just do stupid shit like that. Or like before I left my last job, the last office I was in, they would make fun of me like the way when I had to give feedback to people. So I like come instead of just saying like, hey, can you come over here? Let's have a meeting. Let's talk about something. I didn't want to be that person, but then I didn't want to just scare the person either. So I would just kind of come over to your desk and be like, hey, what's going on? Yeah. Look, let me tell you something. I don't know. I was just. So, oh my god, so funny. Okay, look. So one thing I also wanted to do, and I realized this too last year when I watched Friends. Now I never watched the show Friends ever, even in reruns. I didn't want to watch it because I was like, I don't know if this is connected to something. Like, I don't want to miss it and be lost. So I finally watched all of Friends last year, and one thing that's really bad is when you binge a show like this. I see now why, like, you do have those breaks between, like, cliffhangers and seasons and things, because sometimes you realize the writers are just writing. Like, they're not keeping track with things they said and wrote in the show. So there's a whole bunch of shit that just doesn't make sense. Like, one day they said this, but then, like, 2 seasons later, they're doing what they said they would never do, or it's just something like. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try to put these two together as I go through the characters. So one thing I did notice is that one day Michael rode a bike inside the office. Right, he's on a bike. He rides it inside, and then later on, there's an episode where he's in the parking lot and he can't ride the bike, and he crashes into a car. Like, what is that about? Then there was this episode where it was Kelly's what the hell party was it? But anyway, Kelly was throwing like this theme party, and Michael is dating Carol, and then he proposes, and then she's like, "This is our 4th date," or I'm sorry, "This is our 9th date, Michael." But then later on, I'm watching, and they're talking, and she makes a comment like, "Well, you did propose on our 4th date," and I was like, "Wait, what?" I thought she said it was like the 9th date. So I had to like go back. Stupid shit like that. Why, people? Why? Then you have the character of Jim. Well, there's also Pam. I guess Jim and Pam are a package deal. Really do love John Krakowski. That's his name. Yeah, I really do like his character. I feel like I know a lot of gems in the office. One thing I noticed with his character, when Meredith got hit by the car and then she was like in a body suit and she wanted Jim to sign her cast, did anyone notice that he didn't write, what's his name, Jim Halper? But he wrote John Krasinski. on her cast. Like, that was bothering me. I was like, wait, what did he write? And I was like, wait, that's his real name. So they were just gonna let that go. And so then there's Pam, the receptionist, and then her and Jim fall in love and eventually get married and have a baby and all that fun stuff. Yeah, I knew a lot of Pams. They were all awesome. But one thing I did notice that, remember she was saying like she always got out of playing volleyball in high school. Like she'll say she was like PMSing and things like that. And then later on there was an episode where they're playing volleyball and she was like, yeah, I played in high school and college. And I was like, well, I thought you said you got out of it. Then we get to Angela, and I totally know a few Angelas. It's always that person in the office with an attitude about everything. What's really funny is that I used to be, I used to always be part of like party committees. And at one job, I was part of a committee, and then everyone didn't want to do it no more. And I was literally the only person doing shit. I was planning parties. I was planning like, it was like National Tea Day, so I would go and spend my own money, which the company like reimbursed me, so that was cool. But like getting tea, you make your own like iced tea, or stress day, I go out to buy little like hand lotions and scrubbing things from like Bath and Body Works, and just like just try to keep the morale up, and stuff like that. But at least the last office job I had, we had a group that kept things happening. But yeah, so I like remembering all the party planning that that took place in my life and on this show. Like, that shit ain't easy, y'all. Like, that's legit stress. And then remember, like earlier in the show, Angela mentioned that she had a sister, but they haven't talked and seen each other in like 16 years. And then later on, I think it was like whose bachelorette party was it? Someone's bachelorette party. But, or maybe it was Angel's bachelorette party. But she was like, oh my god, like, here's my sister. We're like best friends, and we have our own secret language. Now, is that the same sister she said she hadn't seen in 16 years? Because they don't make it clear. And, yeah. Writers, come on, writers. Okay, we got Kevin. Shout out to all the Kevins out there. This is that one guy you're just like, go away. Kevin was hilarious. I like when like Holly, the new HR person, came in and thought he was slow. That was a really good episode. But the one thing I did notice about Kevin, he made a comment one day and he was like, all my past girlfriends like wore glasses, right? And then there was this one episode where he's sitting in a restaurant with one of them. I can't think of her name. And guess who's not wearing glasses? Like, the ex he was like having dinner with. So. Okay, and then we have Oscar, who ends up being our gay character. And the one thing I didn't notice about Oscar was there was an episode where Dwight shot a gun and he hit the floor. And then Oscar's like, oh my god, there's hardwood floor under here, right? And then later on, as the show went on, there was a part where they were like, why would they, I forgot what they were doing, but they were moving the copy machine over, and they were like ripping up the carpet underneath. And Oscar's like, oh my god, there's like hardwood floor under here. And I was like, wait, you found that before. Why are you excited now? Like, did they forget? What is the obsession with hardwood floors with him? And the fact that he like forgot that he knew this information. Yeah, that's my only thing about Oscar, but he was a funny character. I feel like we all knew of Phyllis, like the mom of the office. Someone's always so nice and sweet that you feel bad when stuff happens to them. Did you know that Phyllis apparently was written into the show? She was like a casting assistant. So she was casting these people, and then somewhere down the line, they were like, well, I feel like we need like a mother kind of type character, and you fit the bill. So that's how Phyllis became Phyllis on the show. So that was a fun fact. I don't remember if I found anything about fellas that was said early on and then changed somewhere down the line? Okay, then you got Crazy Meredith. Crazy perverted weirdo Meredith. What was really funny about her is like, what the hell was her job? Like every time they showed her computer, she was always playing solitaire, and I was like, I feel like it's the same solitaire game she's been playing for for like 5 years. Yeah. Oh, Meredith. Woo, and then you have Stanley. Ooh, I knew some Stanleys in my life. Stanley was hilarious. Stanley's just that man, like, look, I'm here, I'm doing my job. Oh, it's time to go. Bye. Like, he got time. I was like, am I Stanley? I remember for some reason, I don't know if it was just me, but I feel like Stanley was saying the same thing. Like, I always seem to crash around 2 o'clock. Like, 2 o'clock comes around, and my body is like, so that's usually when I get up and have to, like, go to the washroom and get, like, some tea or some coffee, you know. Because if not, I'm just going to, like, fall asleep at my desk. I wish I could be playing crossword puzzles during meetings like Stanley does. Remember he was like yelling at Michael one day, he was like, did I stutter? It's like, yes. No, we all just wanted to just tell our boss to shut the fuck up. Whew. And then we have Dwight. Like, love Dwight. Oh my God. It's just, what do you say about this man? Like, woo, that's a lot. Y'all, like, the pranks that Jim played on Dwight, oh my God, like, hilarious. It actually reminded me of a lot of stuff that either I did to people or people did to me. Like, there was, when I got to, like, health benefits and pensions and things, you got to get into the habit of kind of locking your computer when you walk away. But there was so many times, like, people would walk away from their computers and they'll leave customer information up. But, you know, to mess with you doing that, screens would get flipped upside down. So people come back to their desk and their screen is upside down. I know these happened to me, like when I used to work at Marshall Fields, and then I learned how to do it at my last, like, office job because someone else was doing it. That time they made Dwight think it was Friday, but it was like Thursday. I don't think that's ever happened to me or what have you, but I know I had a roommate one time change my time on my clocks. And so I got to work like an hour early. And I'm just like, you know, I was listening to the morning radio show, and I know exactly what time certain segments will start. And that whole day was just off. So I was like, well, maybe it's a rerun or something, but it sounds live. But usually around this time, they're doing this. And I'm just driving. And then I get to work, and come to find out, my roommate changed the clock in my room. He changed the clock on my car. Like, so I'm just sitting like a dummy, like, I'm gonna fucking work for an hour. Like, what do I do? Oh my God. It was I left one job because the requirements were just getting stupid. Like, I swear they were coming out with a dumb rule, like, every week. And one of them was, like, tracking my time. So that one episode where Dwight's like, well, I don't steal company time. And every time he did something and Jim was timing him, he's like, nope, I'm working. That reminds me of, like, my boss used, it was Microsoft, no, not Teams. What's the purple Microsoft? Microsoft One? Something, whatever. But it was this weird program, and she literally was like, everything you do, you got to put down what you do through the day. And I thought I was being funny, like, so if I drop my pencil and have to stop and reach down and pick up my pencil, that's a few seconds off of me working. And she was like, yes, put that down. And I was like, wait, I know I was kidding, but are you kidding? Like, if someone came to my desk and say, oh, hey, Orpheus, how was your weekend? And, you know, I'm like, fine, did nothing. Just like last weekend. I have to now put down, like, I stopped working because someone came to my desk to talk to me. Like, it was all stupid. I was like, well, this is... stupidness. So anyway, I can relate to that. Remember that time that Dwight was like, I never sit down during sale meetings. And then there was that one time he was in a sale meeting and he was sitting down in a chair. Or that time he was like, he was talking about his house. He got to the bathroom. He's like, well, it's actually under my porch. But then later on, when Jim and Pam were staying at his house, Mose was like, Mose. Like, Mose was in our house. Like, is there still a toilet under his porch? Like, I don't understand. Alright, and then, kind of like with Jim and Pam, you have Ryan and Kelly. They seem to be like a package deal. Alright, first of all, when the show started, I was really confused because I didn't know how old Kelly was supposed to be because she was looking like this old lady. Like her hair was all twisted back and she's wearing these weird outfits. And then later on, she became like a party girl. So, unless I missed something where, I don't know. Did something happen where she just flipped? Or maybe it was the whole Ryan thing. But I just feel like they didn't know what they were doing with that character. But Kelly is there's always that annoying person in the office where you're like, sit the fuck down. Shut up. Do your job. What was Kelly's job? Wasn't she like customer service? Like, who is trusting this girl with complaints? Like, she never said anything about the complaint. So, it was just always about her love life and this and that. So, I never really understood, like, what Kelly's deal was. She was just there, and then sometimes she wasn't. And the same thing with, like, BJ Novak. Okay, I get it. You come in as a temp, and then you work your way through, and then he got promoted, and then he had the blah, 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 blah. I get it. But then, I was noticing as the show was going on, like, the credits, like, BJ Novak was always credited as a main character, but like I said, half the time he wasn't even in some of the episodes. But I see that, like, him and Mindy Kaling, I didn't realize they did a lot of, I think someone might have directed a couple episodes, but they definitely were producing and writing on the show. So I didn't realize Mindy Kaling was a writer. Like, I thought she started off on The Office and then kind of branched off there. So that's pretty cool to see. But yeah, they were a mess. She was a mess. Toby. Why did Michael hate Toby so much, y'all? I mean, I get it. There's always that person where I'm like, oh God, like, I hate the way you eat your crackers. Like, you know, like there's always something you're just nitpicking about somebody. But he really hated Toby. Oh my God. But what I was really wondering was, I don't know if it had anything to do with the Costa Rica trip he was on, but all of a sudden Toby like lost a lot of weight, and I didn't know if it was like a health issue in real life, or did I miss a line somewhere that he was like, I did this, I don't know. Like, he was really super skinny to the point where, like, why didn't wardrobe fit his clothes better? It seemed like, I don't know, in between seasons or something, he lost a lot of weight and then came back and just tried to put on the old Toby clothes and just walked around like nothing was happening. So I was like, oh no, like, I didn't know it was like a cancer thing written in the show. Like, this is something in real life we weren't supposed to notice. Like, I don't know. So I see that as the show went on, he kind of looked better and better. But ooh, y'all, what was that? Andy. Okay, so I didn't know who Ed Helms was. I didn't know who Ed Helms were. Yeah. So that sentence sounded weird. So I was introduced to him when The Hangover came out, and there's always, when you get a cast of like 4 people, there's always that one person you're like, who is that actor or actress? And he was that for me with The Hangover. Like, I knew everyone else, and then I was like, who's Ed Helms? And people are like, oh, he's on The Office, and I was like, oh, okay. So I feel like if I had seen him first, then I would have totally got him more watching The Hangover. But he was just too extra. Like Steve, or Michael Scott rather, he made sense. Like, his character's stupidness made sense. But then you had the Andy character. He was too much. Like, I'm glad he didn't stay like a manager for very long. But when he was a manager, that was just so annoying. Um, and then same thing with what's her name? Oh, Erin. Erin, played by Ellie Kemper, right? So I knew Ellie Kemper from something else, but then she was on the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, right? And so love that show, love that show. And then I heard, oh, she was also on The Office. Oh, okay. And I didn't realize she replaced Pam. Okay, that makes sense. So she was really good. So I feel like I should have watched her first there and then appreciated her more when I watched Kimmy Schmidt. But I did love. What's her name again? Oh, Erin. I did love that character. All right, so the lightning round. We have Daryl. Daryl was funny. Creed. I like what they did with Creed because you're just like, who is this guy? Like, what is happening? And then him from the beginning, almost being fired to the end. He's like this like runaway criminal. Like, okay, I like what they did with that character. Yeah, Jan. She was crazy. Holly. When Michael left and then Will Ferrell came in as what was his name? D'Angelo. First of all, does not look like a D'Angelo. I hated that name. But I'm actually really glad that he was just a temporary like guest star because he was just too much. He's same thing with Andy. Like I get it, you have to keep the energy up in this role of this manager. But can you imagine Will Ferrell like staying on that show? Like I would have to turn it off. That would have been if I watched the original show running. That would have been the time for me to be like, what else is on? Because I can't. I could deal with you for like a 2-hour movie, but not like 26 some episodes a season. Creepy Gabe. Gabe was crazy. And then that whole Nelly and Robert California. Was his name Robert? His last name was California. But like him coming in and then that Nelly lady who just goes, I'm going to take this desk and now I'm a manager and I'm going to give people raises. Just like, what? So obviously when Steve left the show, yeah. I don't know if people like said this, but you could really tell when the writers were just like, oh no, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And they tried stuff and some of it was just annoying. Just super annoying. So I'm glad when they just put her on the floor, like, okay, well just take a desk over here and just sit down. Shut up. Oh Lord, it's too much. And then I remember people were saying that Idris Elba was on the show. And so I was like, okay, Idris. And so he appeared and then whoop, he's gone. So, I thought he was like a main character for a while, but he was only there for like what, 2 seasons? A season and a half? Something like that? And then he was never spoken. Like, okay, so I get it too because I witnessed it too where companies merge, companies split, they are chopping the top. And so now this person's out and now this person's in and then that person leaves and then they replace it with this person. Like, I get it. I've been through all that. So, but it was just kind of weird. Like, did we need him? So, I don't know. It was weird. And then you had like Kathy Bates later, who I like. You know, she came in when she needed to, and when she was there, she did her thing, and then she left. Like, I get it. So, yeah, that was a lot. All right, so enough of the characters. That's pretty much everybody. So again, love. So I recently just found out, and I kind of hinted, or knew something was happening. So the last episode where Michael is his last day, he decides to leave, and they're in the conference room, and then they were like, "Well, we got something for you," and he kind of looks at the camera, goes, "Oh my God, something's happening." So that was actually a real response because he did not know everyone was going to stand up and sing that song. So like his emotional like reaction is awesome because I was sitting there like, oh, I remember when other people used to leave or when I would leave a job and they would have parties and cake and just all this stuff, and that was cool. So I really did like that. And then at the last episode with the wedding and then Michael showing up. Like, I love the fact that he came back to do that appearance. That was pretty cool. So I really, really did like that. And speaking of this conference room, y'all, one thing that drove me absolutely nuts with this show is that goddamn conference table. Why is it that some days there's a conference table in the conference room, and then there's other days where they go, everyone to the conference room, and there's just chairs just lined up in a row? Where's the table? Usually these things are like glued to the floor. Like, you just can't pick it up and move it. Or if you're going to line up people for like a big meeting, I was like, is it in the back? Is it like pushed against the wall? Is it? No, it's just gone. Like, why? Who is doing this with this table? Next issue. Are there 3 floors to this building, or is it 2? Because, like, so the warehouse is all on the first level. Okay. The staircase that goes up in the warehouse, and there's an elevator and staircase that goes to the second floor, which I swear Michael was like, well, we take up the top floor. And even if you look, there's windows. And then above that, it looks like there could maybe be another floor, but there's no windows. So that seems like a weird labor law. What is up there? But like, if you look at that directory that's on the first floor, there's like 300 suites. Wait, I said that wrong. There are suites in the 300s. So Dunder Mifflin is suite 200 something, and the refrigeration is 200 something, and then there's others that are like 300. So that looks like there should be a lot more happening, but you never see other people. You just see these people. That drove me nuts too. And then I feel like, so I have not watched any of the deleted scenes or bloopers on here yet, because I was trying to just get through it so I could be accepted in society. But I feel like there's probably a deleted scene somewhere in that weight loss episode where everyone was getting on the scale, because I'm watching it, and like Meredith has like this stuff on her face and she's all red. And I thought I missed something, so I started the episode over and rewatched it, and I was like, they really don't say nothing about what is happening with her face. So I feel like there must have been something cut, and this made it to final air, and I was trying to see if there was anything else like that, but I probably didn't notice. But yeah, that was weird. I had to like make note of that. And then the only other things that couldn't get past my eyes was, you know how like some shows will have like a background character or somebody, like a guest star or something. And then later on, all of a sudden you see that person again, but they're a whole different character. Like, I don't understand why TV shows do that. So I caught 2 examples of that with this. So the first one was, I can't think of his name. I'll probably have it up right now. But he was in a job fair episode. And so I was like, oh, okay, because I know him from another show. And then later on, like in 1 or 2, I definitely 1. I don't know if they used him in 2. But then he was the IT guy. And so I was like, well, wait, wasn't he like at a different company or something before with a different name? I don't know. Like, I feel like that happened. And that little boy that plays Dwight's nephew, I swear he was in another episode where there was like a hayride. It was the same little boy. So they couldn't get like another actor just to play it. Because he's not used a lot. So why can't you just get another kid to play? I hate when shows do that. That drives me crazy. Yeah, another good example of that that's not related to, where's that? I think it's right here. Remember like Different Strokes, right? And then Mr. Drummond married Maggie, and the original Maggie was Dixie Carter, and then Dixie Carter left to do Designing Women. So they replaced her as if we're all just supposed to just go, oh yeah, that's Maggie. Like nothing happened. But you can't see her, but the lady playing Maggie, right there. Anyway, she came in like the last season and played Maggie, but she was Arnold's teacher in like season 3 or something. Like, I don't understand why people will come in and do a show and then all of a sudden they come back. Okay, that's cool. You're getting paid. But now we're supposed to just accept the fact that you're a whole different person. So anyway, that's only 2 examples from The Office. There's probably more, but those are the 2 people that like stood out to me and just craziness. Alright, there's other stuff, but this video is probably super long. Also, too, why do people dress up? I had to remind myself how to tie a tie. Did I do it right? I think I did. It looks weird. I hate ties. I hate dressing up. But, why is everyone dressing up every day? Like, no one was like, there was no business casual Friday or something. Like, I get the salespeople. The salespeople seem to sometimes have to just get up out of their chairs and go to a meeting somewhere. Okay, I get it. But like accounting, whatever Meredith does, we still don't know what Meredith does. I mean, I guess people are coming in here and there, but whatever. That was just me. That's just me. I don't like dressing up. I hate it. There's so many jobs I didn't apply for just because of the fact that you have to dress up. Like banking. I want to be a bank teller, but I wasn't going to sit dress in a suit every day. So, next. My favorite episodes going through the show was probably Diversity Day. I love the Stress Day. No, I don't know what the episode's called, but the one where Dwight starts the fire and everyone freaks out. And then you have to learn CPR. That reminded me of a job I had where every time something happens, we never had well, I'm not going to say every time, but usually when things happen, there's a plan put in place. But one time something happened, and I guess there wasn't a plan in place, so everyone freaked out. I was like, you have to go to these mandatory trainings and sessions. And I was like, shouldn't you have done that when I got hired? Why is it a thing now? So that was a funny episode. But you know, that Scott's Tots episode, right? It's probably not the name of the show or episode, but the one where he promises a class that he's going to pay for their college. I was like, what the fuck? He had to come to this school and tell all these kids who are now like seniors graduating that he's not going to pay for their college. And I thought that was going to be an episode that like lingered, if not to the end of I don't remember what season it was, but or like where in the season it was. But I thought it was going to be like, I don't know, 4 or 5 more episodes after that. Because I can't imagine you're telling, weren't they all like blacks and Hispanic kids? That all of a sudden out of nowhere, I can't pay for your college. So I was waiting for like maybe the next episode, like an angry parent or two track Michael down. He's getting harassment phone calls. He's getting something like, hey, we're going to sue you. And maybe that could have been an episode, like a surprise episode later. I just felt that it was just so weird that not one black parent was like, this motherfucker is going to do something. You're going to give me something. We ain't got no money to send our child to college. And you said this is the 3rd grade. Was it like the 3rd grade when he promised that class? Oh my God, that was crazy. Yeah, I like what they were doing with it. It was a weird one-off episode. But I just feel like there could have been so many consequences after that or something. I don't know. That was just me. I thought there was going to be like a continuous storyline with that, and then it wasn't. Michael's roast. Stanley, you got diabetes, and then Oscar, you're gay. It's just stupid. I feel like that was something I would have done. I miss going out to like bars and things after work with people. Like that stuff was fun. But anyway, that was my review of The Office. Super funny. I am mad that I didn't hop on that train a long time ago. But I'm glad that I got it. I'm definitely going to get all the discs out of here and just put them in a CD holder sleeve because this is like the stupidest box that I've ever seen. So there are 38 discs, you guys. Did I mention that? 38. Do I need 38 discs? There's a CD here that has like 4 episodes. That is craziness. All right, so let me know if you've seen The Office. Like, who are you? What character are you? What's your favorite episode? What episode did you not like? Is there anything like blooper wise that I probably missed? It's probably so much more, but just, those are things I caught out and made notes on with certain people. Yeah, let me know in the comments below. I will see you in the next episode. So until then, TTFN.